What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Gage. Welcome to the channel. Today, I am excited to show off my build of Flamvell Fairies from the Edison format of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. This is a build inspired by Keegan, who I believe was able to top an event with a very similar style build a while back, and I believe he only had lost to another variant of fairies. And I think that fairies, just as a whole, are one of the most broken archetypes available in Edison format that is not only underexplored but underplayed, but with good reason, because after having some time to be able to play it myself, I have determined, along with a lot of other people, that it is very unforgiving. You really do have to play it super optimally, and you can get punished very hard if you do not play in the way that you need to. So with that being said, it does make it one of the most difficult decks to play in the format. So I will do my best to be able to kind of explain the thought process, the cards, the ratios, the effects, so that you have an idea just of what the deck does and the synergy that it has, so that maybe you can give it a try yourself and maybe you can find some success. So yeah, I really want to see many more people exploring with fairies, so that we can, try out a lot of different strategies in the format. I think, for the most part, we already know a lot of the decks that are good, right? Frog variants, Black Wings, Vayu, etc. But we really should be pushing for different archetypes to get representation so that we can keep the format diverse. So with that being said, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you're fans of content like this, and I'll go ahead and hop right into it. So the star of the show in a Flamvell Fairy deck is going to be Archlord Crisia. Just an absolutely insane boss monster, even to this day, but definitely for its time period. It has many different effects. So the summoning condition is that you can't, if you do have exactly 4 fairy type monsters in the grave, you can special summon this card from the hand. Pretty nice. When you do, you can target a face-up fairy monster in your grave, add that target to your hand, and it has a floodgate effect where neither player can special summon monsters, and if this face-up card would be sent from the field to the graveyard, it returns to the top of the deck instead. So a lot to unpack here. The fact that it has the ability to special summon itself is nice, because then you get the bonus effect of adding a fairy from the grave to your hand, which is nice because we're playing a lot of really strong fairy-type monsters, such as Herald of the Orange Light, which is a hand trap. So that's really good. And something to remember is that, yes, you can special summon this, but a lot of people forget that you could straight up just tribute summon this as well. You won't get the ability to add that fairy from the graveyard to your hand, but who cares if you're able to stick an Archlord Crisia to the field, right? So yeah, a lot of people forget that you can just straight up hard summon it. And the floodgate effect is obviously amazing. This backed up with, pretty much a solid suite of really good trap cards is going to make it so that your opponent won't be able to play the game, which is, what's going to make it so that you just steal wins outright, especially if decks are not prepared and do not have main deck outs to be able to handle the Crisia. And of course, if this card will be sent from the field to the grave, returning it to the top of the deck is pretty wild, because it means that even if your opponent does manage to find an out, they are going to have to figure out a way to deal with it again. So Crisia is just an absolute house. I'm playing 3 copies because I want to see it as quickly as possible. And so yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Crisia is fantastic and is one of the reasons to play the deck for sure. So I'm also playing 3 copies of Shining Angel, so to be able to facilitate getting fairies in the graveyard, you want to be able to play as many recruiters as you can, and Shining Angel just so happens to be the best one. When it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a light monster with 1500 or less attack. 1500 or less attack from the deck in face-up attack position. So obviously it can float into itself, but it can also float into not just fairies, but other light-type monsters as well. So we are playing cards like DD Warrior Lady that can also be special summoned off of this card, which a lot of people aren't expecting. So yeah, Shining Angel is kind of the glue that kind of holds everything together, helps you to get your fairy count into the graveyard a lot quicker, because you don't necessarily have to wait for your opponent to attack into you, which a lot of the times if they see Shining Angel, they are very much not going to try to do. You can straight up just crash with the angel yourself. So you don't necessarily have to hope that your opponent does it for you. You could just kind of crash with the angel, go into another angel, and continue the loop until you get as many fairies into the graveyard as possible. So Shining Angel, definitely one of the best recruiters to play. especially for a fairy-based build. And of course, I'm also playing 2 copies of Nova Summoner, which is kind of the next best thing. It is also a floater. When it's destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, you can special summon a light fairy monster with 1500 or less attack from the deck. The other ability is irrelevant. The biggest thing, obviously, is that the Nova Summoner has to special summon light fairies, whereas the Shining Angel can summon pretty much any light monster that meets that attack criteria. So yeah, Nova Summoner is still fine. You know, the fact that it can get you into the Shining Angel is kind of the main benefit. But you want to play a high count of fairy monsters, and Nova Summoner is just kind of the next best thing. So, as I alluded to earlier, we are also playing 3 copies of Herald of the Orange Light. The Edison format does not have a lot of hand traps. Yeah, we've got things like Karibo, right, or freaking DD Crow, but realistically, Valor isn't in the format yet, right? So, there really aren't a lot of ways to be able to interact with your opponent in this way, and Herald of the Orange Light is the best of both worlds, because when your opponent activates a monster effect, send this card and one other fairy from your hand to the grave to negate and destroy it. So it would be one thing if it just negated the monster's effect, but the fact that it also removes it from the field is just insane, and the fact that it is pitching itself as well as another fairy means that you're loading up the graveyard with fairies, and this with another fairy is already halfway to your account to be able to get access to special summon the Crisia. So Herald of the Orange Light is just an insanely broken card, especially in a deck centered around fairies. We are also playing 2 copies of Honest. This is a light-based strategy. Most of the cards that we are playing are going to be lights, so this makes it so that you can take advantage of playing Honest and making it so that it makes it that much more difficult for your opponent to be able to attack over things because of the fact that you could always just drop an Honest. So, yep, definitely want to play 2 copies. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. We are also choosing to play 3 copies of Dimensional Alchemist, which is a very interesting card, especially in this deck. It has the ability where once per turn you can remove from play the top card of your deck. It gains 500 attack until the end phase, so pretty nice to be able to get to 1900. That is a fairly relevant stat line that's able to hit over most things in the format. But then when it's destroyed and sent from your field to the graveyard, so that could be by battle or card effect, you could select a monster, one of the banished monsters that you have, and return it to your hand. So it could be a monster that you end up banishing off of its first effect, or it could just end up being monsters that end up getting banished off of something like a deprison from your opponent if you just so happen to attack into one. There are, you know, a myriad of different ways that you end up getting, you know, monsters banished, right? Caius is a very popular card in the format. And as I mentioned, we're playing DD Warrior Lady. So Dimensional Alchemist is a very highly skillful card, and if you are able to utilize it properly, you can use it to be able to make it difficult for your opponent to truly get rid of things. Most of the time when things are banished, it stays there, but in this deck, having access to a card that is able to grab one of those cards, you know, if it, for example, if someone does deprison your Crisia, having a card that straight up, if it's destroyed, gets to add back that Crisia from your banish zone, it makes it so that the deck is just super powerful. So yeah, Dimensional Alchemist is definitely a mainstay, and I highly recommend experimenting with this card because yeah, it's just a fantastic fairy. I am playing 3 copies of DD Warrior Lady. So this is the card that I'm kind of always back and forth on. It's, you know, sometimes just one of the best cards to be able to have removal for any of your opponent's threats. Being able to, you know, banish this as well as another card that it battles. You know, just very nice at being able to, you know, load up your banish zone just in case you need to be able to add it back off of the Dimensional Alchemist. But really just as a solid light that you could special summon off of your Shining Angel that also just so happens to synergize with other cards in the deck. So yeah, it is one of the best cards that you can use to just kind of out things in a pinch. So that's why I'm choosing to play 3, but you could certainly experiment with just 1 or 2. So that's it for the fairies. I am also playing a card trooper. While it is not a fairy, it is nice for being able to, you know, just get cards into the graveyard to be able to set up for, you know, either a rekindling play, because like I mentioned, we are playing the Flamvell side of things, Or you can go ahead and set up for a Call of the Haunted. You can start to load up your grave with fairies. So Card Trooper has kind of utility in that it's just a solid normal summon, being able to choose from 1 to 3. Most of the time it's going to be 3, and then you are able to gain 500 attack for each card sent to the graveyard off its effect. So usually you're getting 3 cards into the graveyard, getting to 1900 attack, which is just solid. But then it has the bonus effect where if it is destroyed and sent to the grave, you could straight up just draw a card. So a nice consolation prize if it does end up getting destroyed. So I like Card Trooper. If your opponent wants to waste a Caius on it to be able to prevent you from gaining access to the draw effect, so be it. But a lot of the time, they're just going to end up having to swing into it or destroying it by other means, in which case you're getting a free card out of it. And so that is, starting off with the Flamvell side of things. So as I mentioned, this is Flamvell Fairies. We are playing, of course, 3 Flamvell Fire Dog, which is the best Flamvell monster. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the grave, you can special summon 1 fire monster with 200 or less defense from the deck, excluding itself. So a lot of the time, you're going to want to go into the Flamvell Magician, in which case we're playing 2 copies of, which honestly doesn't do much on its own, but the fact that you are able to special summon it means that the moment that you are able to get the Fire Dog's effect off, usually in main phase 2, that means you are able to go straight into a Synchro 8, which most of the time is going to be Stardust. So to me, having access to a free Stardust is just really good. So this package is just really nice. And of course, because we're playing it, we are playing 2 copies of Rekindling. So Rekindling being able to special summon as many monsters from the grave as possible with 200 defense. They are banished if on the end phase if they just so happen to be sticking around up until that point. But most of the time, if you Rekindling back, your Fire Dog and the Magician, you're just going to end up using it to go into a Synchro monster anyway. So you don't really care about that downside. So this is just a really nice bomb to be able to go into to make it so that you are constantly spamming out Synchro monsters, and it can make it very difficult for your opponent to be able to deal with it. So Rekindling is nice, and so that's why I'm playing 2 copies. So for some utility, we are playing Book of Moon, just one of the most solid kind of -1s in the format, being able to use it defensively to prevent yourself from, if you're attacking with a Crisia into, say, a Mirror Force or something like that, you could just book your own Crisia to protect it. You could use this to be able to shut off your opponent's monsters that might be a floodgate or difficult to deal with. So Book of Moon just is a versatile card. You could use it to be able to stop your opponent from getting access to a Synchro play if they do manage to get into a tuner monster. So Book of Moon is always going to be nice. You really just want to be able to make it so that you also have as many cards that you could protect your monsters when needed. So yeah, Book of Moon is fantastic. I definitely recommend playing at least 1 copy. And of course, we're playing Mystical Space Typhoon. Pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of nasty cards in the format that are in the form of back row. So a lot of nasty traps that you do not necessarily want to walk into. So MST is very solid, along with Heavy Storm. We do not want to, get blown out because your opponent set 4 and passed. And so, yeah, we don't want to walk into Bottomlesses. We don't want to walk into Mirror Forces. So Heavy Storm is going to be a staple in pretty much every deck in this format. Playing 1 copy of Brain Control, absolutely busted. Being able to take your opponent's monster and you could either attribute it, use it for Synchro material, anything that you desire. Brain Control is nice, and you could even attack with it. So, Brain Control, it's arguably bannable in this format, but, you just kind of have to play it. It's part of the format. Definitely have to play the 1 copy there. And then I'm also choosing to play 2 copies of Gold Sarcophagus. So this is nice because of the fact that we are playing so many really solid cards in the deck. This can represent being able to get get access to your copy of Heavy Storm really quickly if you think that you're going to be facing a lot of back row. This can get you into your Crisia. This can help you get into your Rekindlings if you already have access to the Flamvell engine. I mean, Gold Sarcophagus represents any other card in the deck that you can need. Playing 2 copies of Gold Stark is good for being able to accelerate your game plan and being able to banish cards. And as we explained earlier, that does have synergy with your Dimensional Alchemist, because if it's destroyed, you can add something back. So you can actually preemptively add things back that were banished off of the gold sarcophagus way earlier than expected, because normally you'd have to wait, after the second standby phase. But if you already have the Dimensional Alchemist in play and manage to get it destroyed, either through crashing or whatever the case may be, then you can go ahead and add back whatever it was that you banished off the gold sarc too. So just some nice synergies there, and that's why I'm choosing to play the 2 copies. Speaking of banished cards, we are playing the Broken Return from the Different Dimension, paying half your life points to special summon as many of your removed from play monsters as possible. During the end phase, they would, they would be banished again, but the fact of the matter is that a lot of the times you're either going to be using that to special summon a bunch of monsters and go for game, or to use a bunch of those monsters to be able to go into synchro plays. So a lot of the time you're going to have a bunch of DD Warrior ladies that are banished. You're going to be having a couple of cards that might have been banished off of D Prison or Caius or whatever, or even the cards that you end up banishing off of your gold sarcophagus. So there's a lot of banishing that's going to be done. So Return for the Different Dimension is just a solid card in this deck. Really nice synergy. So you definitely have to play at least 1 copy. And just a solid suite of trap cards. We're playing the Bottomless, we are playing the Mirror Force, and we're playing Call of the Haunted. Pretty self-explanatory all around, just good cards that you want to be playing in pretty much any deck in the Edison format. And we are playing Torrential Tribute, again, just a really good equalizer. And for the last card I'm choosing to play is 1 copy of Solemn Judgement. Just kind of a card to be able to tell your opponent no, just in case if they do manage to be able to find an out for the Crisia or things of that nature, or if you do end up accidentally swinging into, a set D Prison or something along those lines. Solemn Judgement is just a nice insurance policy to make sure that no matter what, your plays go through, and that your opponent is not able to get rid of your cards as easily. So, we're playing a bunch of traps ourselves, so we don't necessarily want to be able to, get blown out by Heavy Storm or anything along those lines either. So Solemn Judgement, just a solid card all around. I was always struggling to figure out kind of like what that last card would be, but ultimately we really just want to be able to protect our cards, because we are playing a broken deck and we're playing a lot of broken cards, and we want to make sure that those cards stick. So guys, that's it for the main deck. Just to quickly go over the extra deck, honestly, this is not refined or anything along those lines. I pretty much just threw in a suite of cards that could come up, whether we are able to go into them ourselves or whether or not we end up taking our opponent's monsters off of something like a Brain Control and then using it for synchro material. So I'm playing all the usual suspects. I'm playing Catastor, as well as the Android. Being pretty solid in this deck because of the fact that it's a light, so you do have the option to be able to, protect it with the Honest if need be. We're playing, just the broken level 6s. We're playing the Brionac as well as the Yugioh Guardian, being able to bounce cards as well as steal a monster. Pretty good. And this is, even though this is the errated version, because in Edison format we are playing with the original cards, this just requires a regular tuner, not necessarily an Earth tuner. I'm playing 1 Gaia Knight, just as a solid rank 6 that is... level 6 that is able to attack over Stardust Dragon. That 2600 stat line is pretty relevant. And then I'm just playing a couple of level 7s. We are playing the Ancient Fairy Dragon to be able to have a big booty. We are playing the Urbellum if it does just so happen to ever come up. And of course, we're playing the Great Equalizer in 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon. Nuking the field always feels good. And because we're playing the Flamvell engine, we are playing a pretty big suite of Synchro 8s. And of course, we have to play the best Synchro 8 at our disposal, which is 2 copies of Stardust Dragon. Gotta love the QCRs there. Just absolutely gorgeous. I'm playing 1 copy of Red Dragon Archfiend to be able to have the option for being able to nuke defense position monsters. So also just a really gorgeous QCR. I'm also playing the 1 copy of Dark End Dragon. I have to pick up a QCR of this, but the Platinum looks pretty good too. Yeah, it's not going to come up very often. It's one of those things where, again, because we're just playing Brain Control, I just kind of want to play as many cards in the extra deck that might come up. I'm playing the Thought Ruler Archfiend, pretty good at being able to stop things like Brain Control. We're playing the Colossal Fighter, which is just a very solid monster, really beefy stat line, as well as 1 copy of Mistworm. Doesn't come up all the time, but when you see the play to be able to go for it, it can be a backbreaking to your opponent if you're able to just return 3 cards that they control to the hand. So guys, that is going to be it for the profile. I hope that you learned something, and that if you are interested in this format and haven't given this particular version a chance, I would highly recommend it. I feel like it is very rewarding because, like I mentioned, it is difficult to play. There are so many different lines and so many different texts that you can be playing. I know that Keegan was playing something like Cyber Valley, which, because of its applications with banishing different cards, just makes it so that it opens up a whole new world of possibilities that, honestly, the only reason I'm not playing it is because it was just too big-brained for me. So maybe if I had, a masterclass, or if I had someone sitting down with me to actually go over every single possible combo that could come up, then maybe I would consider giving cards like that a chance. But I just kind of wanted to make it as cookie cutter as possible, with cards that synergize really well together. And overall, I think it's still really solid nonetheless. So guys, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you so much if you are still around up until this point. Please, please, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm so close to 500 subscribers, which is very exciting. I really appreciate all the support and love that I've been getting on my videos. And until next time, GG.